Alright guys, in today's video we have some more next-gen news to go over and discuss. So before we get into it, if you could do me a favor, hit the like button if you do end up enjoying the video, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification icon as well. But we're going to kick this off with talking about some recent comments that were made from Digital Foundry's John Linneman about the PlayStation 5. This is something that I think has kind of went under the radar, so I just wanted to take a minute or two here to relay this to you guys because I think most of you will find it interesting and also very telling. And yeah, so over on Digital Foundry's channel, they were recently doing a 1 million subscriber live stream special, and when they were talking about the subject of scaling and graphical disparity, this obviously came up due to the recent PlayStation 5 teardown. This is what John Linneman had to say. He said, "We haven't actually had hands-on with the PS5 yet, but just talking to developers, I think people will be surprised in a good way. I've been hearing some good things about that PS5. Now, obviously, he doesn't go into any more detail because he doesn't want to get in any type of trouble or say something he maybe shouldn't. But I want it to be known that not only is this something we have been hearing for basically since we heard about the PS5. We've been hearing it for over a year now. This is also coming right off of Richard Ledbetter, also from Digital Foundry, recently saying something very similar, where he's been talking to developers, and everything he has heard from developers, it's all been positive. It's all been talk about how easy the console is to develop for, how much developers appreciate it, and just how easy it is for these developers to take advantage of all the PS5 features and the full feature set. And now we're hearing this from John Linneman as well, from Digital Foundry. There's, I'd say, maybe not really that many people who are against the PS5 in a significant way. I'm talking about people who make up rumors, who make up things just for the sake of trying to bring it down. And I don't know why people would even do this, but just trying to, convince people and convince others that the PS5 is going to be some kind of really not so great console, that things are going to really be held back, and we're just not going to be at all impressed with what we end up seeing. And I just think this is so bizarre because we've been hearing nothing but the opposite of that. We've been hearing about how easy it is to develop for, how developer friendly it is, and even more important than that, we've literally seen it right in front of our faces. We've seen it with our eyes with games that Sony has revealed running on the PlayStation 5. Many of them have looked really good. Many of them have actually looked what we would consider next gen. I mean, it's up to each person to decide for themselves what you consider next gen. But overall, I think that it's been pretty much nothing but good stuff we've seen and heard about the PlayStation 5. If you ignore a lot of the negativity, or most of it anyway, that seems to be coming from certain corners of the internet, and you just kind of pay attention to the stuff that matters, you realize very quickly that you don't really need to hear John Linneman or Richard Ledbetter say these things about the PS5. I mean, it's really great, and I'm glad they are, but they're just relaying what they're hearing from developers. And John Linneman seems to be under the impression that, based off of what he's heard, he expects people are going to be surprised in a good way when it comes to the PS5, and he's been hearing some really good things. So really promising stuff there. But we are also going to be talking about the Xbox Series X and some reports apparently that are coming out that it's running hotter than it should be, or it's overheating. I think a lot of this stuff has been greatly exaggerated, but I came across this article from WCCF Tech where the title reads, "Xbox Series X runs no hotter than an Xbox One X, says Microsoft, despite recent reports." So it says, last week, a small handful of lucky journalists and streamers got their hands on the Xbox Series X, and for the most part, the early impressions were positive, with testers reporting great loading times, improved performance for backward compatible games, and little to no fan noise. That said, as folks have continued to live with the new console, a few have reported something less flattering. Apparently, the Xbox Series X has a tendency to get rather warm. Here's what CNET video editor at large and Giant Beatcast member Jeff Bakalar had to say about the matter. Thanks to VGC for the transcription. And so this is what he's quoted with saying: "Here's what's crazy. The Xbox Series X was just plugged in standby mode behind me. And you guys, the entire thing is a little toasty. It seems like, in a way, a lot of the other consoles were doing stuff while you were not using them. It seems like this thing might be doing something while you're not using it, to the point where it needs to exhaust heat." At one point, Bacalar also pulls the storage expansion out of the Xbox Series X and finds it warm to the touch, although he's obviously playing things up a bit. So what's the deal? Are we going to be toasting marshmallows over the Xbox Series X vent? Probably not. Xbox marketing guru Aaron Greenberg has responded. I don't know why I said responded that way to the latest hot reports. And according to him, Microsoft has done tests and found that the Xbox Series X isn't significantly hotter than the One X. And so on Twitter, an individual named Chris Weaver asks Aaron Greenberg, is it really running hot, or is that just a case-by-case thing when doing backwards compatibility? And Aaron Greenberg responded by saying the console will output system heat out of the exhaust, just as any other console will. Our engineering team confirmed the heat leaving the console is not significantly different than the Xbox One X. This matches my experience at home. Quiet, fast, and impressive power for the size. So, you know, to me, this is a situation where I think some people are, you know, they're running with this a little bit too much, getting a little bit ahead of themselves. I mean, it's never good when you hear reports like this come out. And I believe the individual who said this, I haven't been following it, so I don't know if they like followed it up with anything. I don't think it matters, because even if you just take what he's saying at face value, he's not saying that the thing is like overheating. He's just saying it's getting hot, you know, and I feel like that's kind of to be expected. You look at the form factor of the Series X, you think about just how much energy it's using, you know, how powerful it is. And, you know, I'm sure that Microsoft's cooling solution is more than adequate. I can't imagine that they would have sent these consoles out this way if they believed or had any inclination whatsoever that there could be, you know, some type of heating issue. So again, I think this is just really a non-issue. I mean, this is something that, if it's a problem, like if this is actually something serious, you're going to know, and we're going to find out at some point. But I don't think it is. I think Microsoft had this, you know, this is something that I have to imagine they put a lot of effort and time into to ensure that they're never going to have another Xbox 360, you know, red ring of death situation again. So again, I think people are just maybe running with this a little bit too much, but it is interesting because it does seem like maybe there's a chance the Series X could run a little bit hot, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's just interesting because you see what Sony's doing with the PS5 and how they went all in with the cooling solution and the liquid metal and whatnot. So, you know, we'll find out as these consoles release, as they're on the market for a couple of years, if there's going to be any type of heating issue. I suspect there won't be. Again, I think that people are just maybe running with this a little bit too much. But one last thing I do want to briefly mention here before ending the video, and I'm not bringing this up to kind of, again, fan the flame that are the console wars. I just think it's something that we should acknowledge, which is recently, or I think it was just yesterday actually, it's been revealed that Mortal Kombat 11 will be getting a free upgrade for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, so it is getting a next-gen version. And one of the interesting things I couldn't help but notice is, you know, this is a multi-platform AAA third-party title. Apparently, it's going to run at dynamic 4K resolution on both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. So, you know, I'm just mentioning this because I was told by individuals across the internet that there was going to be some massive difference and disparity between multi-platform third-party games on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. The PS5 was going to get the lesser versions. Now, you know, this is just one example. I'm not saying that we won't ever see a difference. And who knows, maybe they're just saying dynamic 4K, but when we see Digital Foundry eventually, if they do a breakdown for Mortal Kombat, maybe we will see a big difference. But I'm just saying that this is something that maybe we should pay attention to, because it could be something that becomes a trend. I don't know. I've never really been of the mindset that we're going to see a massive disparity between third-party games running on the Series X versus the PS5. If we do, I think it's maybe going to take some time. I don't think that that's something that's going to happen anytime soon. I think that's going to be like later down the road, further in the generation, potentially, when developers really start trying to fully utilize the full 52 compute units that is on offer with the Series X. But I'm just putting this out because, again, I was told that there's going to be a huge difference. And the real reason I'm bringing this up is because right now, I think the Series X, its biggest selling point, specifically the Series X, is its power factor and third-party games. And so I fully expect that when we see breakdowns from Digital Foundry when it comes to third-party games, I am expecting to find out that they're going to run a little bit better or look a little bit better on the Series X. And if not, then that's going to be pretty concerning, in my opinion, for anybody who was maybe looking forward to that supposed advantage that's supposed to be there. So yeah, just wanted to mention that here at the end though, but that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already, hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.